Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. And as a 23-year veteran, I have to say, go Army, be Navy. It's bipartisan. Hey, Mr. Bowersox and Mr. Cook and Ms. Chaplin, I just have to take a step back, and I know you just had questions along these lines from Mr. Olson. I get asked by Floridians all the time where space is really in our DNA, and folks follow this very closely down in my district in Northeast Florida. I was asked by a constituent the other day why NASA can't go over there in Space Museum and dust that lunar lander off, upgrade that thing, and get it back on the SLS that you're rebuilding, and let's go. And we laugh, and that obviously skips over a lot of technical details, but it does get to the heart of the issue of why a lot of Americans and a lot of Floridians struggle to understand why it feels like we are inventing the wheel. We did this a long time ago with a lot less technology, and so as someone who's new to this committee, I cringe when I hear it's going to take us another 6 years to develop a spacesuit, or that we're talking decades to get back to where we were decades ago. So can you kind of just elevate a little bit? Because I think all of us in this committee and all of us who care about space exploration are going to continue to make the case and have to make the case of not why this is worth the funding, but why it is taking so much time and so much effort and so many delays and so much money, frankly, to get back to where we were.
Well, first, that's a great question, and it's something that I think about every day. I think we've done it before. Why is it so hard to do it again? And one of the things I see is we do things differently now, and often we want to take less risk, and that is one of the biggest challenges we've got. So I keep trying to get people to go back and look at what we actually did on the lunar module for Apollo. What did we do with the suits back then?
From a process-wise,
from a
and
process
a culture
point of view and a culture point of view, to help remind us of the type of risks that we accepted in the past, and to see if it's appropriate to inform our risk decisions in the future.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Cook. And
it's really a complicated question and answer, I think. There are a lot of facets to it. You're absolutely right, it was done, and a lot of those technologies were proven. Some of them have been abandoned for a long time. We found when we made the decision on SLS propulsion that a great answer for propulsion on a launch vehicle from Earth is a big kerosene engine, which we had on the Saturn V. But we haven't done a big kerosene engine since then. The shuttle was LOX hydrogen, and that drove us to go that direction. So we can walk away from capabilities that take some time to get back. Now, on the other hand, it shouldn't really take all that long to develop some of these things. I am fully on board with getting them done as quickly as possible, and actually, if you have some urgency, it keeps alternate ideas and new requirements from creeping in, which is part of the reason it does take longer. Because
you're talking about the great idea factory.
Yeah, the great ideas
that we call in the Army.
So we because we have more capability and technology, we want to fit them in somehow. I mean, it's typical for an engineer to want to make things better. So we get trapped in that to some degree, I think.
So just in the interest of time, I really want to get to, and the chairwoman mentioned it. What do you think NASA needs from the Congress and the administration, particularly as this committee works towards a reauthorization, to meet our goals of getting on the moon? I know we have the broad agency announcement out for a commercial human landing center. We've discussed in the terms of the committee has discussed in the context of Artemis that NASA plans to award contracts at least one provider that can safely deliver humans to the moon annually, beginning in '24. What do we need? What do we need to get done this year, short and medium term, to hit that goal?
Well, first, we appreciate your support, and we know we've got it. Consistent guidance and the resources. And for this year, what we need is that budget amendment so we can get the landing systems awarded, get those contracts out, because that's our long pole right now for getting to the lunar surface.
And what would you say is the drop dead date? Well, let me use a better term. What would you say is the outside window of the date to get that contract actually awarded?
Well, roughly the end of the year. And then, it slips after we go past the end of the year is what I'd say.
Okay. Thank you. Madam Chairwoman, I yield.
Thank you, Mr.